I'm back. So I got a little bit of makeup on today. Feeling much better. My hair's did and all sorts. And I got my little lighting and everything. I still am not really 100% sure where I need to look. So forgive me guys if I end up like briefly looking at myself, because it just feels really weird to be talking into a camera. But I'm back today. Got my Falcons top on. Like if you don't obviously know me, but when you do get to know me, you'll know that I love the States. It's probably my most favourite place in the world. My other half gets so mad about that's the only place I want to go. It's not. I love loads of other places, but I just love America. Always have, always will. Want to emigrate there at some point. But anyway, today's video was just going to be about why I decided to start up Unapologetically Rocks. So I started it originally. I did a brief video originally that just told you a little bit about myself and why I started it. But I just kind of wanted to go into it a bit more in depth. I basically, again, I feel like I say this so much, but it is just 2017 was the catalyst for a roller coaster of like shitty years, to be honest. I lost my dad at the beginning of December, and this video today was going to be about how you cope with grief. But then I thought, I don't even know how you cope with grief. You just get on with it. I remember years back, one of my close friends lost her little sister, and I spoke to her about like how she coped, and she was just like, I get up every day. And it's kind of a thing of like, I don't know if you believe in God, if you believe in the universe, but I'm not done with you yet, which is why you still get up every morning. My dad and I had a great relationship. We had a few rocky years. I was his baby girl, was spoiled beyond belief. I'm the youngest of 5 children anyway, and so I'm spoiled beyond belief anyway, or so I've been told. Probably where my daughter gets her diva tendencies from. But yeah, I was daddy's girl, and we had a brief few years of where I didn't feel that he supported me the way a dad should. But then when I had my oldest son, he literally turned it around and just became the best granddad and father like anyone could have. My stepdad is also my dad. He's been around since I was 8 years old, and I love him immensely as well. So I was very lucky to have 2 fathers. But when my dad, so prior to dad got sick 4 years ago. He got sick 4 years ago with stage 4 throat cancer. At that point, they had told me that he had 6 months to live. He had an operation to debulk the tumour that was in his throat, which was literally closing off his airways. So he had collapsed, and they called me, and then they thought it was a stroke, and when they had kind of investigated further, they found that he had a stage 4 throat tumour. So he had the operation, had 6 months to live, ended up with a tracheostomy, so ended up not being able to speak, and then had some what they call palliative radiotherapy, and then decided that he was going to stick around for 4 years, which was amazing, because in that 4 years I had my second child, so my baby girl, and then I had my youngest boy. If I end up crying, because I can feel the emotion welling up already, please forgive me. It's still really fresh. I'm quite impatient in my thought processes about things. I feel like you should just move forward with stuff, and I've struggled with this immensely. Grief is a crazy, crazy, crazy emotion. I thought love was crazy. I thought I was crazy, but like grief is so intense. And prior to this, I've never lost anyone this close to me. So when my grandparents passed, I wasn't very close to them. That's a whole nother YouTube video, but I wasn't very close to them, so it didn't affect me as much. But obviously my dad affected me immensely, and so as I was saying, he ended up having another 4 years. Had a roller coaster few years. So again, I'll probably go into this a bit more, but I got made redundant while I was pregnant. We had to move out of a property. We moved into another property. I went back to work when I got pregnant with my second daughter. My second child, who is my daughter. We then decided to move somewhere else on the premise that we would be able to stay there for a long time. The landlord then decided that she wanted to sell up. I then lost my second, like my job that I had taken while I was pregnant. My other half lost his job. And then we ended up homeless, which not many people know about. I mean, the close people know, but not many people know about. We had a shitty experience until we moved into here. But just before we moved into here, so we moved in a couple of years ago, and the January before we moved into here, when I was pregnant with my third child, so I'm homeless while pregnant with my third child. Excuse me, I'm so gassy. It's all the sugar-free drinks. But I was homeless when I moved in. We were homeless when I got pregnant with my third child, and then we moved into here. And so at that point I was feeling like settled. We've got a permanent space, we're chill, we're cool. Then found a lump on Dad's throat. He came round and I saw this lump on his throat, and I was like, what's that? And he was like, oh, it's my glands. I feel like it's where my dad was quite elderly and he's Jamaican, so I laugh at this, but he was like, it's where I slept bad. And I'm like, Dad, you don't get lumps from sleeping bad. And he's like, basically trying to compare it to having a crook neck. And then literally my heart sank, and I said, okay, I'm going to contact your oncologist. Contacted the oncologist. He had missed a couple of appointments. So I used to go with Dad to every single appointment. Sorry, I have a habit of putting my hands in. I used to go with Dad to every single appointment. And when I got pregnant with my third child, he was very close to my daughter, so they were 18 months apart. I struggled to even get around with them, to be honest. I was pregnant and she was like 1 or just over 1, and it was just intense. So I couldn't always go to the appointments. Being homeless was crazy as well. It was just mad. So I didn't go to his last few appointments, which he promised me he had gone to, but I'm not so sure now. When we did go back, the oncologist had said, oh, I've been trying to contact him. But yeah, it's back. He had a few more appointments after that. And I think the last... the appointment that he had in he had an appointment in the March of 2017, and I spoke to the oncologist afterwards because I didn't really want Dad to know, or not know, but I just feel like when you're told negative things, they impact how you then deal with things. So I didn't really want him to know that it was like terminal, or if I was going to be told that, like, not that it was terminal, but that was it. I didn't want him to know. And she said to me, oh, like, this will be his last summer, at best Christmas, which broke my heart. Like, I don't want to cry because my makeup, but that broke my heart, and I didn't tell Dad. But then I started talking to my sister who lives abroad and my nieces who live abroad and my family. So my family this side in the UK, we're quite separated sometimes, and it can be quite dysfunctional. So sometimes we're talking, sometimes we're not talking, but my family in the States I'm very, very connected to. And so I started talking to them, and they arranged to come over and spend some time. And I just decided that the year would be a year of memories. So we would make loads of memories with the kids. We take loads of pictures, we take loads of videos. I christened baby boy in April, and Dad was there. My youngest and my dad had a crazy, amazing relationship. My dad adored him. He adored all my kids, but there was just a connect there, which was like, seemed quite spiritual to me, if that makes sense. So then my sister and my nieces came over in June. We had an amazing time. We did the London Eye and stuff, which was crazy. Doing the London Eye, and you live in London, like we take it for granted that we have all these things, and we never, like, I haven't even been to many places in the UK. I'm so quick to get on a plane, but don't go and view places in the UK. And so going on the London Eye was an experience. And then Dad had his birthday, and then there was just the decline after that was crazy. Like, cancer is a cunt, excuse my language. It's probably the worst disease ever in life. I pray that no one I know goes through that again. It's one of the reasons why I changed my diet, or I'm changing my diet. I'm addressing the things I eat, because it just riddles you. And sadly, Dad passed away in early December, so he didn't even get to have his Christmas. But we made loads of memories. We got loads of pictures. I've got videos. My niece did a video of him talking and saying that he loved me and my sisters. So things that you can't get if someone suddenly just passes. So again, I have so much gratitude for spending that year with him. I have so much gratitude for having the 4 years. It's difficult. I was with him every single day, and him not being around just blew my world apart. Grief has caused ruptures in my relationship. Like, we're working through a lot of things. You kind of feel like, what's the fucking point? Like, what is the point of doing all of this stuff if that's what happens? And that then affects every part of your being. It's constant. My day is, I constantly have to bring myself back to a place of like, I don't know what the word is for it, but just not to sink into the depression of there is no point to this, because it's so easy to feel like that. And it's so easy to just be like, well, if you're going to die anyway, what else? I thank the Lord every day for my children. I get up for them. I do whatever needs to be done for them. Most of what I do in my life, my other businesses, my coaching and stuff, is because I have them. And having them just didn't allow for me to sink into any kind of depression. They don't understand. They don't know. My oldest was aware that his granddad had gone, but my youngest too. My daughter even made a comment about it. Yeah, because granddad died the night that he died. Yeah, because granddad died, and he's like, it was literally so blasé, but that's to be expected. They have no awareness, and so they don't understand that the world stopped for me. What they understand is that they're hungry. They're hungry and they need food, and I need to go to school, and I need to put clothes on, and I need my nappy change, and to be honest, it was going through the motions, and it still is going through the motions, that's allowed for me to try and move forward. And sometimes it still knocks me for six. I cried my eyes out last night, literally broke down to my other half just about how shit I feel and all the promises I made to Dad. Before he passed away, he asked me to promise that the kids would be okay, that he would be okay, that I would be okay. And to be honest, even if I wanted to sink into some kind, I don't know, depression, I've had depression before, so like sit in a corner and not want to get up, not want to wash, not want to brush my teeth, even if I wanted to do those things, I promised him that I would take care of those children, and I will. And also, those children would allow me to be like, oh, I'm just not going to do anything. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, you take it one day at a time. Grief is never ending, I guess. The loss never goes. I feel like a void, someone's just come in and just snatched a piece of my heart out, and some days it physically hurts, like physically. Some days I don't know if it's not that I don't think about him, because I see a picture of him every day, but I think I just go through the motions, and then there'll be points or periods where I would have gone to see him, or I would have picked up the phone, and I can't do that anymore. And so it literally is one day at a time, and I wouldn't wish this on anyone. And before I lost my dad, I empathised with people, but I never truly understood. And I don't think you can ever truly understand loss until you've experienced loss. But again, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. People ask me constantly how I am, and I don't know what to say, to be honest, because I feel tired of saying, oh, I feel like upset about you, feel like you're burdening. So you then tend to keep it inside. And what I would say is, like, if you're going through stuff, don't keep it inside. There's always going to be one person that's willing to listen to you go on and on and on about how upset you are. I don't know if it gets easier, to be honest. It doesn't feel any easier to me. Like, I wish that I was through this part. Sometimes I think, like, for me, what sticks out is that the world just goes on. So you lose, or you have someone gut punch you, basically, but the next day everyone still gets up and goes to work, and everyone still gets up and has to take care of their family. And I'm like, hold on, my world stopped. How comes you're still fucking going on? And that's literally how you feel. And it's hard adjusting to that. It's hard accepting that the cycle still continues, and you never really understand that the cycle still continues until this kind of thing happens, which is, I guess, it's part of human nature. But anyway, what I would say is that, like, don't suffer alone, because it's hard. Don't feel bad for feeling the way you feel. Don't feel like you're burdening anyone. And just, cliche as it sounds, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week at a time. How you feel is how you feel. Yeah, and hold on to the memories. Like I said, I'm so thankful that I got to have those memories, and that's what I'll cherish. So, Dad, if you can hear me, I love you immensely, and I hope I've made you proud.